Greetings, I'm Tim of Govberg, and I'll be your guide to the proper usage and care of your IWC Pilot's Watch Chronograph Spitfire reference 3777-19. It's important to note that although this is an automatic winding timepiece, nevertheless it can be manually wound should the watch run down. Screw the crown out in a counterclockwise direction until it pops out of its flush position against the case. At this point, by turning the crown clockwise a minimum of 20 times, you can energize the movement and start the oscillation of the balance. You'll know the watch is running by the motion of the constant seconds indicator at 9 o'clock. At this point, the watch can be placed on the wrist, and thanks to the automatic winding rotor, the natural course of action on the wrist will continue winding the timepiece. However, should you wish to wind the watch to its 44-hour full power reserve, simply continue turning the crown. Because of the bridle style mainspring, you cannot accidentally overwind and damage this timepiece. Once the watch has been wound, it's important to note that there are two specific functions that allow for more precise setting of the time and the date. The first, in the second crown position, is a quick set function for the day and the date. Turn in a clockwise direction to quick set and correct the date, and a counterclockwise motion to set the day. It's important to note that this function should never be engaged between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m., as this is the period during which the watch's own automatic day and date jumper is engaged. Attempting to use the quick set from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. can damage the movement. Finally, note the constant seconds at 9 o'clock and the outermost position of the crown. This is known as hacking or stop seconds. If you halt the advance of the seconds hand at the index at 60, you can precisely synchronize the watch with its movement stopped against a known accurate reference time such as an atomic or radio clock. Once the watch has been wound, the day, the date, and the time have been set, it's important to screw the crown completely back to its flush position for protection and water resistance. This timepiece is a chronograph actuated thusly. Start and stop functions at 2 o'clock. The watch can be started, stopped, and resumed without hazard. However, the watch must always be stopped using the chronograph pusher at 2 o'clock before actuating the reset pusher at 4 o'clock. Should you actuate the reset while the chronograph is still running, you can severely damage the movement. It's important to take note that IWC recommends winding a watch at least once a month if it is not being worn regularly, as this allows the lubricants to remain evenly distributed across the movement. IWC also recommends, with respect to water exposure, that certain limitations be observed. This timepiece, with a screwed-in caseback and screw-down crown, is endowed with 6 ATM or 60 meter water resistance, which IWC rates as sufficient for swimming and snorkeling. However, the crown must be fully threaded into its secure position flush to the case, and no functions, whether of crown or chronograph pushers, may be actuated while the watch is submerged or wet, as this action can bypass the seals and introduce water to the interior of the timepiece, causing severe aesthetic and mechanical damage. Moreover, IWC reminds owners that water resistance is not a static feature of a timepiece. As set from the factory, it begins to degrade immediately as seals age and lubricants dry up. Therefore, IWC recommends having the watch tested for water resistance on a yearly basis to ensure the security and integrity of your timepiece. It's also important to note that with respect to fit, beyond the sizable individual links of the bracelet, the watch is equipped with a push-button slider. The push-button slider, which is the IWC marquee, allows several millimeters of length to be taken in or out for micrometric sizing and also for changes of wrist size as a result of atmospheric conditions or relative activity. It's also important to note with respect to care and handling that the timepiece should be secured from extreme magnetic fields. While this aviation-oriented timepiece does have the additional security of a soft iron inner case to provide protection against elevated magnetic flux. Nevertheless, refrigerator doors, exceptionally powerful speakers, subwoofers, and magnetic resonance imaging equipment should be avoided at all times. Should you suspect that your watch has become magnetized, take it to an IWC authorized retailer where it can be quickly and easily demagnetized. Finally, with respect to mechanical service, IWC recommends a comprehensive service every 2 to 5 years. It's important that this be performed exclusively at a factory-authorized boutique or authorized independent retailer, as only these agencies will have access to the trained personnel, equipment, and original replacement parts to maintain the performance and integrity of your investment. Moreover, only these agencies are able to endow parts and service performed with a factory-backed post-service warranty. To learn more about this IWC Pilot's Watch Chronograph Spitfire and the entire IWC model line, visit our website, govbergwatches.com.